enemies, folks. In the bottom right, in the blue. For Good Game Gaming, it's Dream. I know, right? Mindies is such a fantastic stat. And of course, neighbor left. For Team Liquid, it's Clem. Shinobu, I know last year they posted all the power hexagons. Does the power ranking article have it? Looks like the answer is no. So it doesn't look like they posted the power hexagons yet. I can ask. I mean, Valid's Autonomous. I love the Mindies stat. I kind of hope, I hope that just doesn't go away at this point and they just go with it. It's just like, yep, okay, you know what? This is our life now. Mindies. But again, I want to point this out. I pointed out last series as well. I love the custom logos that they've made for in the WTL theme, like the GGG and Liquid kind of embossed crystalline team logos. Yeah, well, we see the results from Clem, we just don't see them offline. And I think that's fair. I think in general, COVID has given us this incredible opportunity to be exposed to so many awesome young talent, but on the flip side, it has forced us to, it kind of had us forget just how good some other people are. So Cyril, for example, is much better. He's much better offline than he is online. I don't think that's really up for debate. I think that's something he will say himself. You look at the results, you look at how the games are played, and in general, Cyril's still very good online. But either it's he goes to the next level offline or he does not have his skill degrade when he goes offline to nearly the same level that someone else does. Meanwhile, with players like Clem and Raynor maybe to a lesser extent, who have either not played offline all that much or do seem to play worse in an offline setting. So I'm not even saying that it is COVID's fault. I'm saying COVID forcing us all to play online meant that we saw the skill of a lot of players who were good at online, and we kind of forgot a little bit that there's more to being good at StarCraft in an offline setting than just being good at StarCraft. Mindset is incredible. The nerves of being online are a massive thing. Hey, Rodrigo AM. Rodrigome 26, sure. Hence my Mindies, exactly. I'm glad you understand it. We're all just getting back to this. Yeah, just don't get nervous. If you read Goggins? Daniel? What's his first name? Anyway, if you read his book or read others like that by these people that have been trained by the U.S. Marines, or you're just familiar with stuff, one thing that they're taught to do is battle breaths. Just you can confuse your nervous system into thinking that you're actually, we got a double cyclone drop here, by the way, from Clem early on. You can convince your nervous system that you're calm by just breathing really deeply for about 10 breaths, and it massively will go and drop your heart rate, and it's really effective. It's just you're just fooling yourself. It's a physiological response. But anyway, this cyclone drop here gets a couple Marines. Supply depot really should be the end of it. And there we go. Good lock on there on the medevac, not on the cyclones. Locking on the cyclones just means the medevac breaks the lock. Locking on the medevac forces the push from Clem back. So Dream loses 3 Marines. He loses a supply depot. Really not the end of the world. Exactly. Oh yeah, AC chill. Yeah, 250 minerals. About the cost. I bet. Actually, that's a fun number because what? It's a mule is worth about 210, I think, 215. It's like something like that. This Raven is just gonna go on down. No, oh, good use of the energy there, but now an auto turret snipes it down. Clem loses his Raven. And that more than makes up for the 3 Marines and the supply depot that were killed off early. Because that's gas. I mean, technically it may have been more minerals, but the gas is the important thing. Is again, Clem just continues to shark on the map here with his I'm glad, Mr. Munchy Tuna. You're able to survive the crushing pressures of the deep ocean as well and swim at over 60 miles an hour? Or is the tuna only a moniker? Okay, so Dream, this is triple Raven. He knows he just sniped 1 from his opponent. He doesn't necessarily know that there's the drop on the other side, but that's going to be even better for him. But there we go. Lockdown on one of these tanks, and the army will continue to move forward. Auto turret, it gets shot down very quickly. Tank as well, and this position from Dream is damn hard for Clem to break down. But there are Vikings, and there are no Vikings, I don't think, for Dream. So yes, the Cyclone runs forward. Yes, some SCVs continue to fall. But there we go. Cyclones are going to find... Oh, this is actually so fantastic here. He's going to find the rallying Vikings, which means that Clem will continue to have air dominance, which means the Ravens are not nearly as impactful as they might otherwise be. But even still, this tank siege position is actually doing damage to the orbital. So eventually, Clem is going to have to pull the trigger. He's going to have to go take this fight. Ideally, he does it after he gets the Ravens, but I don't know that he's going to have too much of a choice all that much longer. This repair is starting to get expensive, but Dream knows this as well, so he locks the tanks down, knocks them down. Auto turrets get dropped on top of everything, and Clem just taps out. Dream turns Clem's early morning into a nightmare, and he takes game 1. Anyways, in the bottom left, in the red, or in the blue, excuse me, up 1, it's Dream. And of course, Nipper right in the red. For Team Liquid, it's Clem. Blim. Yeah, Dream is A to S in TVT, honestly. His TVT is incredibly good. It's just his other matchups that are... But Dream's funny. Like, he didn't even try to qualify for GSL Season 2, I think. Or no, he got very close, and then he just didn't do Day 2. Or he didn't do the lower bracket, something like that. It was like he did not play in all of the opportunities he had to play to try to qualify. Oh, we zoom in again. Yeah, but right, it's still Clem. Not sure why we zoomed in there, but thank you, observers. Yeah, Dream is just... I feel like he's less full-time. I feel like... I don't know what he's doing in Korea. But again, yeah, he's just not doing quite as much as I would have expected him to. But for now... Mirrored builds for both players, I think. Yeah. PH Double Gas Factory, same idea. Oh no, I'm sorry, totally wrong there. Not paying enough attention. We see a reactor coming out of Clem, so he's building double Reaper at a time. Or is that double barracks? Wow, I'm sorry. I read Twitch chat. Always a mistake. Anyways, it looks like it's just a quick reactor. So we're seeing a lot of Reapers pop out here from Clem. And this can catch his opponent off guard if he's able to jump in. They were like 3 Reapers to 1 before the Hellions are out. It actually can be rather nice to eat. Oh, there we go. He got the first shot. The SCV tanks the shot. Now 1 Reaper is dead. Back up the high ground they will go. Ring around the Rosie, but the Hellions now out. So they got to sit back on the low ground. We will see the natural get delayed. This bunker is not going to complete, folks. It's very much a bait. But the bunker, actually, that was a kill on that bunker, not a cancel. So nice there. Nicely done there by Dream. Clem has 2 racks. That makes sense. I wasn't sure whether that second dot was a barracks or a supply depot. Now the Reapers go on the high ground, looking for the damage there, and as long as they just kind of play on the edge of things, they're fine. But it's when we start getting that one-tap potential. When we start getting that one-tap potential, the Reapers just get very sad. But Clem has one shot, is able to one-shot with his Reapers in about 1 Reaper. 6 Reapers, they do... They do more than 55 damage a shot. So they one-shot STVs. They approach one-shotting Reapers, or they might even do that. Not totally sure. Now into the natural, they will go. The command center is there, diving up the ramp, but that choke says no, no, no. All those Reapers take damage, and that is absolutely not what you want. But STVs get pulled to repair this army of Dream. So Clem owns the low ground, and now he's adding some Hellions of his own. He's actually doing some significant damage to this orbital, and he's going to try to force the ramp. A couple of STVs will fall. And the orbital that was on the low ground now lifts up, but it runs away because Clem, he's going to back up just briefly. Icy Chill TV, I was not. I only did the online component, which was awesome, by the way. I got this chair from that. It's unfortunate. By the time they sent me my TSL shirt, or they tried to send me my TSL shirt, they run out because they were so popular. So instead, they're sending me like some TSL 8 merch and get a nice Team Liquid hoodie. So I get to rep Team Liquid regardless. Cost point, yeah, this is from about 12 hours ago. Oh yeah, is Clem wearing an X-Man shirt? Uldrick. The Team Liquid partnered with Marvel, so they have a Spider-Man jersey and an X-Man jersey and an Iron Man jersey, I think, and other things. But yeah, from everyone I talked to that was involved, that went offline, it sounded like they had a great job. Here's Clem just bombing on top. But the tank does not get the shots off he won. And now the Reapers, they run forward. We're going to see the Cyclone go down first. That's the important unit. Clem looking for a siege up, put the Ravens there. And the actually Raven on the other side of the map doing some damage. The medevac falls. Auto turret gets dropped, so Clem has to back up. Dream now taking wins on both sides of the map. Gets a little bit of damage on the other side. He cleans this army out very easily. And again, we're seeing that Dream is that TVT sniper. Clem wipes the floor with Nice. He wipes the floor with the Rattata. And Dream probably doesn't do all that well against the Elazer or against, I forget who the third player is for Liquid. Against Elazer or Mana. Maybe Mana. But he can handle Clem. He can handle the ace of Team Liquid. Yeah, the only time I've been to the Netherlands is when I flew through Schnippel on my way to Italy. Kelazhur. Thank you, MW1836. By the way, folks, you see that that we might finally see max packs in offline play because the Queen the Queen stripped royal titles and like the entitled income from 6 of her grandchildren of Denmark. So we might finally see max packs offline events if he's no longer royalty. By the way, just so it's clear, we don't know anything about max packs being royalty or not, but it is my favorite meme. But yeah, no. So when I went through Schnippel, it was on my way. No, sorry, was it on my way? No, it was on my way to Spain. Excuse me. As Marines run for it, but a lot of auto turrets get dropped. So one tank is dead, but Clem's still doing a good job of owning the middle of the map here. Now he hot pickups. He goes for that drop and says, "Okay, Dream, if you're gonna try to own the middle of the map, let me drop you." But the Vikings are here. One medevac. Well, it's gonna go down. Yeah, there we go. And the second one should be able to escape. It looks like the ground army of Clem should be fine, but he's not gonna find his way into the main base anymore. My European travel hell bet, this was years ago, was when I was flying. So when I went to Italy, when I flew there, it was during the Lufthansa strikes. So we had a flight on a different airline into Frankfurt, and then we had to take an 18-hour bus ride from Frankfurt to Italy because no planes were going to no planes were going to Rome. So we took a bus from noon local time to about 6 a.m. and had to start doing things at 7. No one slept. And then on the way back, because the flights were running by then, we flew to Frankfurt, and our plane got in late. So I had to go from gate A1, and by the way, Schnippel's like the biggest airport in the world. Gate A1. Oh, sorry. Frankfurt is the biggest one, like the biggest airport in the world. I flew from gate A1 to Z69. I ran there in like 10 minutes to get on my flight back home. As now Clem stims and he senses opportunity. One tank goes down. Medevac falls, but not one with anything in it. Now we're starting to see Clem use that multitasking, that APM, that micro that he is so well known for. As he got a drop in the main base, 5 SCVs go down, 6 SCVs go down, and this little bit of pressure that Clem has at the 4th base of Dream is making it so hard for Dream to do what he wants. That circulation is not really there. And there we go, drop on the tank as well. The tanks of Clem start to wedge their way on forward. Auto turrets get dropped, but I mean, it's a bunch of Marines. They're going to kill this very quickly indeed. Now Bio onto the low ground. Clem starting to snowball. He's up about 8 armies to fly. Now he is missing upgrades. His armor upgrade is late, rather significantly in fact. So his Bio does not fight nearly as well as Dream's does. But he's killed 18 SCVs. His army supply is roughly equivalent. This tank position is really nice indeed. His rally will arrive. Tank's unsieged, and here comes more Marines stimming on top of this tank on the high ground. Only one is sieged. You got to get that one down here, my friend, and he will not be able to do so. But the concave of the tanks from Clem is absolutely dazzling, sparkling indeed. And the Vikings, they're going to try to land on top. It's not a single tank does go down. Clem, he wins this fight with aplomb, with pizzazz, with pomp and circumstance. And now in the natural key will go. Another medevac does fall. That armor will be done soon enough, as again SCV is going to get pulled here. But Clem can just retreat back to his rally, can retreat back to these tanks as Dream continues to not siege up the tanks, continues to not have the time to siege up the tanks until right now. There's a tank on the high ground that is absolutely annihilated. I think literally decimated. Those Marines. 1 in 10 did go down. The rest of them just took a lot of damage. And the Marines now on top of these tanks, trying to get the rest of the tanks of Clem out of this position, but Clem is exactly where he needs to be. And he shows the tremendous healing factor of Wolverine in that X-Men jersey. And he recovers from grievous wounds in that first game to tie it up 1-1. In the upper right, folks, he is, for Good Game Gaming, the Pokemon Rattata. In the bottom left, in the red, the second ace of Liquid and Elazer. And Rattata, as expected, going for 12. I don't know whether it should be expected necessarily, but Rattata going for a 12 pool in game number 2. There you go. Clean up that webcam positioning. Yeah, I need to watch it. But anyway, Steadfast voted for Rattata Rainer. So I'm just saying, you want to get mad at someone for forcing all the ZVZ, even if Steadfast has no bearing on what happens in the WTL, you can blame him anyways. In fact, I believe he is also doing a time-shifted broadcast of WTL right now, except he's about an hour behind me. Something like that. So you all should go, you should keep the stream open, of course, but you should go and you should flame Steadfast for the amount of ZVZs that happened in WTL this week. Always true. And that would be a fantastic rematch of when Rattata 3-0-3-1 to Rainer in the grudge match. But anyway, Rattata, his lings are on the map. Now he's built about maybe 10 of them. And Waterfall's a decent map to do it on. It's not the longest, or it's not the shortest map, certainly, but it's not long. So the goal here, of course, 12 pools are better on maps where you can get your lings on the other side of the map before the hatchery is done. Because a finished hatchery has 1 armor, an unfinished hatchery has 0. It just takes more damage. Now drones are going to get pulled, and good drone micro from Elazer at the start. The hatch, though, starting to get a little bit low, so Elazer has to commit a little bit harder. Lings now popping out, and good surround. Great drone drill from Elazer, actually, but it loses 3 drones. Makes it 4, and that is kind of your break-even point. 4 workers go down for Elazer, but he already had drones on the way up behind, and he has opted to not go back into gas just yet. So he did open hatch gas pool, but he's not going back into that just yet. opting to play about pseudo gasless. All right, you got, okay, he's going back into it now. The Lings now, they say, oh, this is a ripe queen ready for picking. And it is in fact a ripe queen ready for picking. You will gladly trade the Lings you trade to get a queen like that. That delays creep spread, that delays injects, although there are 2 queens still on the map here for Rattata. It minimizes defense, you have less transfuses, you have less queens are the keystone unit of the early game, the early to mid game for Zerg. So if you're able to knock that down, if you take the keystone out of the arch, it all comes crumbling down. Now we don't know if it's going to come crumbling down for Rattata just yet. He sneaks a couple Lings in the main base, looking for a scout. Is going to find that yes, there is Zergling speed on the way, which is by far the most important scout. Everything else looks normal. He's like, okay, well, two on the gas means you're probably going to get banelings at some point, but even still, you don't want to go as gas cheap and ZVZ as you do in the other 2 matchups. Hey, Icy Chill, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Very much appreciate it. So this is a quick layer coming in from Rattata at this point. Now we see, of course, the Roach War and Evo Chamber at the front. That doesn't really tell us all that much. What I'm looking at, okay, +1 range might tell us a little more. What I'm looking at is the number of gas, because right now Rattata has 2 on the way. If he adds a 3rd, so 4 total gas, we're gonna say, okay, well, it's mutas. But for right now, it looks like it will just be Roach play. Probably a +1 speed Roach timing, if I was to be forced to make a guess. Of course, Elazer does have his 3rd base on the way, and Waterfall is a weird map, and that it's super small, super short, but it's actually kind of hard to get into the 3rd base. Man, Elazer has a lot of Lings on the map here. He is droning up behind this, of course. Oh, okay, there we go. 4th gas and the Spire. So Rattata going 2 base muta. Well, he's presenting to Elazer that he is invested into +1 speed roaches. All right, 1 Evo Chamber wiggling. You see the Roach one wiggling as well. He may opt to keep those. We see a lot of muta styles that gets like 8 mutas, and you're like, okay, you know, I got the mutas. It's map control. It is worker damage maybe, and then, well, I just don't go for it. As nice shutdown there on the scout. But then it's all about the roaches after that. It's just the mutas are that little bit of utility that the pure roach player does not have. And looks like that is what Rattata is going for. We see no signs of +1 or roach speed getting canceled. And there is a beguiling timing, a rather interesting timing, where we can see that the Zerg with those 8 mutas and just a lot of roaches, and they just sit the mutas on top of their opponent's roaches. They snipe down any ravagers. They snipe down any important tech units. And then it's just a lot of splash damage that start to mean that the roaches take one less shot to die, 2 less shots to die, and it starts to snowball pretty heavily. In a way that just adding in 8 more roaches, for example, doesn't do, because again, the mutas, they can hit the back lines, and roaches really only fight front lines. It's kind of this, well, that's why concaves and part are so important. You want more of your roaches to be on the front lines, but 5 mutas are on the way. And Elazer has no idea that this is happening. We should see Rattata at least go up to about 8. All right, so now roach speed done for both players. Mutas will show their faces on the map here, and this is when you have mutas that just don't exist and suddenly they do. It's the most powerful way to play with mutas, but it's not quite enough to really annihilate the mineral line just yet. And it seems like Elazer knows that this is just not a significant. I mean, he sees there's only 5 mutas, but he knows that in general, this is not all that significant of a muta commitment. So he's not even getting spores. He says, "I'm just gonna get queens, 3 queens at a time. That's fine. We're gonna get carapace. That's fine." And now it's time for me to run across the map. I have a lot of roaches. I have so many more roaches than you do. And yeah, sure, the mutas might eventually do something about that. But this roach count from Elazer is very, very scary. Now, it's hard to get up that ramp. And the Ravagers do represent significant threat. But the Lings, now they get on top of the 3rd base. In fact, the 3rd base will go down. Elazer punching into the natural as well. The mutas, they're doing what they can. But they can't really do anything. Not really. We talked about this idea that, and it looks like this roach pressure from Elazer will eventually go down, but he loses his third and loses 7 workers and a lot of roaches. It wasn't quite enough damage to make it worthwhile. For Rattata with mutas. Now, we have to consider the fact, of course, that this is +1 Carapace on the way for Elazer, not +2 attack. The roaches of Rattata will be better than the roaches of Elazer. As we see, a Ravager will get canceled. Right? Oh, never mind. Ling's safe. No, we don't want any of that. But Elazer now, he's up about 12 workers. A couple less now because he's built stuff with him. He's now building spores. But he's up a decent amount of workers. He's up a base. He's up gas is the important thing. It means he can build more Ravagers. It means he can build... Really, Ravagers are the important thing right now. Overlords will continue to fall. But so long as Elazer doesn't take too significant damage from here on out by, say, the mutas diving into a mineral line, and spores are just about done. And remember, the muta count is not high enough where you're really afraid of it. That's a dead observer. Or dead overseer. But as long as the meter count doesn't get to the point where they can one-shot spores, I mean, the mutas don't represent nearly as much threat as they used to. Now the roaches on the high ground, but there are Ravagers here as well. So it's kind of hard to push into that one. We'll see one gas go down and fights on both sides. Bile looked like it was going to hit, but does not. And now here come the roaches of Elazer moving on forward. They're 1-1. It's +2 for the roaches of Rattata. His roaches are just plain and simply better. We see that starting to happen here. Yeah, the roaches of Elazer take a little less damage, but it is not nearly as consequential as that +2 attack is. So he does not bounce the high ground. The spore, it defends the mineral line. Doesn't really defend the gases. So Rattata doing a great job here, forcing Elazer back onto his side of the map, forcing Elazer to react. As we saw a Dropper Lord get made, and well, it's just going to go down. That's a investment that it, well, maybe it doesn't go down, but unfortunate investment. Much like most of the stock market, am I right? At least right now. What did it go down today? One of the downsides, or one of the upsides, I guess, of playing mutas, one of the downsides of playing against mutas is if you don't get your creep spread on that 4th base, it can be very hard to defend it. So Rattata does find the 4th base. You're going to start to do some damage to it. Remember, without creep spread, these queens are not... Now, the mutas, I don't think... The mutas can't kill them because the queens are at 1-1. But, you know, it's always a little scary when there is no creeps. The queens cannot transfuse the mutas again. Going for a flyby. Queen target fire needs to be a little bit better. And there we go. We'll get one of these mutas down. And as the mutas are not really being remade, any muta death is a good muta death. And now we're at 4. That takes just that much longer to kill eBay or to kill gas geysers, to kill really anything. So the muta count of Rattata is rapidly turning into just a harassment force, nothing else. As Rattata will see these burrowed roaches just a little bit. Mutas swing back for them, but I mean, they're not going to kill these all that quickly. You don't even see them right now. So the roaches at the front for Elazer. Oh, he dives on top. The Ravagers at the front of this army, but he does have to retreat. His army is not quite where it needs to be just yet. +2 is not done, but he sets up a concave. Queen's exposed on the right side, but the burrowed roaches of Elazer, he just needs to buy time. They represent so much damage in this game. And remember, he has defender's advantage. He has 2-1, so too does the Rattata, so no upgrade advantage there necessarily. But as long as the concave from Elazer is going to, from Elazer is allowed to hold, and it seems to, he has the advantage in this game. He does so much more damage on the other side. 13 drones have died. Mutas, they return home. The bird roaches, they just kind of run away. You split them up. Overseers, as good as they are not quite fast enough. So 13 workers. I assume a bunch of queens have died as well. Now Elazer opening up a massive lead in this game. He's up 12 army supply, but importantly, his opponent is having to build drones, not roaches. So Elazer building a worker lead and a significant army lead. He's up about 40 army supply here, but his entire army not with him just yet. Only with him in spirit. So what can Rattata do from this point? Feels like it needs counter pressure. Honestly, knocking down those Ravagers is a fantastic start. Now the Roaches are going to move forward, and it really doesn't feel like there's much Rattata can do at this point anymore. The Mutas will not save him. The Roaches will not save him. The Biles will not save them as Elazer dodges them once again. But now moving on top of these Mutas on the other side, they say maybe we can do something. Maybe we can deny a gas. It doesn't. Elazer's going to deny Rattata the game as much as you talk about denying that gas. So Elazer, the 70 supply of Roaches should win on equal upgrades because the amount of splash damage that happens is significant. But folks in the upper left, in the blue, he is Rattata. Bottom right, up 1, Elazer. Well, it depends on how many mutas you have. And if you're talking about harassment, yeah, Elazer does have some beautiful hair. If you talk about harassment, I mean, if you talk about speed of killing workers, Roaches versus mutas, I mean, technically, like 1-to-1, 8 mutas versus 4 Roaches, the Roaches win. But they do splash damage, and you can say sit from a safer distance, like killing a gas, and that kills workers too. And of course, comparing, well, the mutas take forever to kill Roaches doesn't matter because the mutas should the mutas should really, if you're a muta player playing well, your mutas should not really be used defensively all that much. You should have Roaches and other things where you need to be, unless you're playing like pure muta, playing muta ling or something, and then you have these heavily upgraded lings that ideally make things happen as well. Poop Shaka 97, is this live? I am live. The games were played this morning. If that answers your question. So Rattata is a cheeky boy. Game 1, he went for a 12 pool. This time, he's getting a third base before 2 minutes. 19 supply, third hatch. Because it's Moondance, and you can do these things, and if this is anything like what I've seen in the past, this should be a Link Flood. The third hatch, not necessarily for extra mining, it's for extra production that, of course, you can mine from later on. These lings from Rattata are a problem. Elazer tried to skimp out on his ling down. No, yeah, you talk to any pro player and they will say that mutas feel too strong in ZVZ right now. And it is, we talk about harassment, okay, whatever. It is more important. I know you said, okay, regardless of map control, harassment's stronger for the Roaches. The map control is by far the strongest part of that. StarCraft is a game of vision and economy. Of knowing how greedy you can be at all times, of knowing, or as often as you would like, as you can, of knowing how aggressive you can be, of having enough information to build your army to be appropriate. The mutas deny that from your opponent to a significant extent while giving you it. So you'll often see a muta player, even if it is just muta roach, like 8 mutas, they'll be able to expand faster. Their opponent will not expand nearly as nicely. They're going to have to commit to a lot of stuff. You talk about, well, the roach player might have more roaches. Well, we saw Elazer. How many queens? He got like 10 queens. 10 queens can commit to a defensive timing, but to defensive hold because they can transfuse. They don't really do that much for aggression. So it's not like you build a massive roach supply lead for the most part. So where are we at? Elazer adding in 2 more gas. So looks like roach play for the time being. And yeah, Rattata, he's just steamrolling ahead. He got that third hatch so quickly. It wasn't a link flood like I was thinking about. It's just he has his third hatch at 19 supply. That means he has triple queens. That means he has triple injects. That means he has more larvae. That means he can build more drones. So his economy is just rip-roaring. As MW1836 points out, he's up 10 drones pretty consistently here. which means he can afford 1/1 instead of just +1 attack. I very much expected to see him go. Actually, I kind of expected to see him go Mutaplay out of this. But you only get 5 gas. You don't get that 6 gas because you do take the pocket base. So technically, if it turned into Muta Wars, which seems unlikely, but if it did, Rattata would just be behind in that. So that's a very good reason to not go mutas in this game. Instead, just taking advantage of that little bit extra gas to get a second additional upgrade. 1/1 roaches versus 1/0, and well, I don't think I need to say 1/1 roaches are just better. You know, you want to get +1 attack versus +1 carapace, but if you're gonna get, but both is still better than a single one, unless your opponent is able to take that extra 150 gas and turn that into 6 extra roaches that wins the fight. Which is why we generally see only one upgrade, only the attack upgrade, not the armor upgrade, until, you know, solidly on 4 bases where it doesn't matter as much. But if you're able to take, again, quick 3 bases, your 4th base now on the way for Rattata, that's a very different story. So Elazer is aware that his opponent has been he's been a greedy boy. So we got a Nidus on the way. And I don't know if Rattata scattered that out. Roach is now looking to hit the front, and I'm looking at that Overlord in the upper left on the mini-map, and that makes me think that we're going to see Nidus in the pocket base. Okay, no, Overlord on the right. So Nidus in the main base here from Rattata. He sends his Roach out, though, and this will get scattered out here. It's only 1 Roach at the moment. The Nidus is getting pretty close to completion. And I don't know if there are any. It looks like there are no queens in it, just roaches. But the roaches now, they're starting to pop on out. Nidus there at the backside. So a couple roaches pop out from Elazer, but not his entire army just yet. The roaches now having to retreat back home. And remember, this is 1/1 versus 1/0. The roaches of Rattata are just better. He's about 10 supplies. So the roaches here, they come. The main base are still doing a great job. Roaches pour out of the Nidus into this pocket base. 8 workers go down, 10 workers go down. Elazer now with a pretty significant worker lead here as he continues to find damage into mineral lines, continues to pick off rallying roaches, but we're seeing just how long it is taking him to kill these rallying roaches. Now, Elazer doesn't necessarily want to go on the high ground. He can't maintain a concave easily, but on the low ground, he actually absolutely has a massive one. Oh, I love that. That's such a great move. Rattata on the other side of the map with the counterattack with these better roaches. He kills the Nidus. It was now a one-way trip. Now Elazer cannot go home to defend, and we are in a base trade scenario. A base trade scenario where Rattata has defender's advantage. This was just killing that Nidus network has won Rattata this game in tremendous fashion. He's finding his way on the high ground right now. Again, the roaches are just better. Again, Rattata is just better with this build in game number 2. He ties it up once again. He's nice in the bottom left. In the red for Team Liquid, Kelazhur. Oh, makes sense, Marty V. Buren, yeah. I got the jump on him. No one's this fast with his hands. We're gonna stop there, because that will be memed to all hell. And folks, we cannot have chat. We cannot make anything that is slightly suggestive when chat is involved, because it's just there's no good solution. Hey, Envoy PT. Thanks so much for the follow. Envoy Physical Therapy, Personal Trainer. Plot thickness. It's good. Ogre Fade. I have been working on a conference paper. I sent the first draft of it to my PI Wednesday night about 1 in the morning. And we've been going back and forth on it. I spent a lot of today photoshopping things to make things prettier. Pro Tour. Yeah, could be Envoy Pro Tour. Could be. Yeah, I would favor Kelazhur pretty strongly here, especially with Kelazhur's run recently. He's been pretty. Was it DreamHack? Was it DreamHack Europe Online? He had a really good turn, surprisingly good results recently. No, that's because that was LATAM. He made the finals. No, he had a pretty good run in the Valencia offline. So yeah, I would favor him here. Okay, Reaper onto the high ground. Now, there's a station, or there's a shield battery, so this really doesn't represent all that much. It's a scout, though. He says, oh, okay, there's a Stargate on the way. There's maybe a vulnerable probe, but not even that. Not even that will be a target that Kelazhur considers worthy of his Reaper, or more importantly, because the Reaper will die, and he doesn't want that. So he runs away, plays Ring Around the Rosie, which is my favorite extremely morbid children's song. Because, of course, this, for those of you that are, if you're not aware, Ring Around Rosie is, you know, I was like, oh, you know, it's about the Black Death, because when you get the bubonic plague, it shows itself kind of like Lyme's disease, except it's black. You have these black dots on you, these black sores on your skin with a ring around it. So it's a ring around the Rosie. They thought that posy would ward it away, so it would ward the plague away in the Middle Ages. So, you know, you have the ring around your Rosie, but the pocket is full of posy, and then you're going to be ashes, and because you all fall down. Yeah. It's about a bunch of people dying from the Black Death, but it's a cute little children's rhyme. It's fine. It's okay. Yes, yes. Let's sing about death. And the world's ending, or something. Or is that, that's Theoden. Although, right now, that oh, that feels all too real, so maybe not. But okay, first Oracle out from Nice. Second one is on the way. He added a couple additional gateways. I don't think we have a Twilight just yet. So what does Nice have in store for us? Nice often has his own builds. Did they make any rhymes for COVID? Not that I'm aware of. He's like, nursery rhymes are not as much of a thing. Okay, so Phoenix on the way behind this. So it looks like it will be Phoenix Colossus, I'm assuming. But this push from Kelazhur is really scary. Double sight. This is actually a push that Gun has been killing Max Packs and other Protoss with in EPT Cups recently. Where you go, and I think this was, for Kelazhur, this was still an expand build. It was a Reaper expand. But there is no anti-air in Kelazhur's main base. It's all on the other side of the map. So we will see a bunch of stuff go down. The Viking pops out now. Cyclone's looking for their lock-ons, but Shield Battery is a powerful thing indeed. So this push feels just a little weaker than what we've seen, than what we've really seen Beyond doing in EPT Cups, for example. Oh, okay, I see chill. I thought it was, well, what the English London plague, was that, what plague was that? But now we're going to see the Phoenix move out on the map here. Only one Cyclone arrives. And with these Oracles as well, this is just not going to work for Kelazhur whatsoever. It just doesn't feel as effective. It was not quite all together. There was a timing where it was just like double Oracles, and it was great, but that's not really all that great. Now Cyclones, now they unlock, and the medevac has to run, has to hide. Viking doing what it can, but this, now we're seeing really, in the words of the great 1960s Dr. Dolittle movie, it's a push me pull you. It goes forwards and backwards at the same time. It has two heads. One head is Nice, one head is Kelazhur. We're going to have to see which one wins out, which one is actually able to finally move forward. The Adepts, they shade in, representing a little bit of damage. The Cyclone gets picked up, and the Stalker's now starting to fall a little bit. This game is sloppy as hell. You know, I had barbecue for dinner the other day. I thought that was sloppy. This is a whole new world, a million things that I have never seen before. Yes, Sir Felix, we don't turn on the bracket command for these broadcasts because the games have already happened. So bracket is just a spoiler. Man, I cannot see the phrase "still alive" without having the Portal song from the end of, was it the first Portal? Stuck in my head. Which is kind of a banger of a song. Like, it's Portal, but, and it's a comedic song, but it is kind of a banger of a song. All right, so the question though, how do we move into the mid game here? +1 attack, halfway done for Nice. We got Blink as well, and Blink is approaching completion, but the Oracle will fall, which is really unfortunate. You won that Oracle. You won at least one of them for Revelations for map control. For the Quick and Easy Scout, which Nice no longer has. His blink is done. Charge on the way. So it looks like he will stay on ground tech just a little bit longer, but we do see, of course, that he does have... he's going up to 6 gas, and with the Robo going down, I think we're probably going to see maybe even a second Robo for double Colossus production, double Disruptor production, something like that. Well, the Army of Nice, remember, is on the other side of the map. He's going to warp in some Stalkers now, and Kelazhur says, you know, I don't have Stim yet. These Marines are not really useful to me, so he did force a warp in at home. He did force Nice to build units that he maybe doesn't want to build. But it does force the Army of Nice back, so Kelazhur will be able to take that third base and gear himself up for the next stage of this game. Huh. Okay, I see 6 gas tells me it's going to be Colossus play, but we see a Temple Archives going down, so it looks like it's just going to be heavy Archon count, heavy Storm count, under the assumption that Kelazhur will not really be able to, I'm not sure where those Marines are stimming to. And it will be just really heavy High Templar Archon count. Lots of Storms. Again, under the assumption that Kelazhur just may not be able to get his Ghost count high enough, quick enough with how the game went. Because Kelazhur's third base only down now. 4th and 5th barracks only down now. He's not going to have a super quick Ghost Academy. Doesn't have the gas for it. Well, I guess technically he does, but he doesn't have the money for it in general. I guess is a better way to say that. So Kelazhur, his army supply actually not even really all that high compared to what Nice has, which is what you're looking for when you go for these pushes. You say, yeah, you know, I have significant army supply leads. It's therefore worthwhile as the Stalkers blink on top of the medevac. That means the Marines are doomed. Maybe these Wintermines are going to be able to do something, but they burrow backwards. It means that Kelazhur has to kite back over them instead of kite the Zealots into them. It's a subtle difference, but it does mean as Wintermine goes off, doesn't really, or 2 Wintermines go off, doesn't really get anything, but we will see a pylon go down. There we go, the final Wintermine. A little bit better. But it's a subtle difference, but the difference between laying out a minefield in front of your army and laying down a minefield behind your army is really, it says a lot about how you expect that push to go. As a big warp in into the main base of Kelazhur here, he's got to deal with the push at the front as well. Nice, his army is fantastic for this stage in the game. He needs more Zealots at the front though. He's going to hallucinate Colossus, give him high ground vision, allow the Stalkers to move in, setting up a concave. They blink right. Force fields are going to be okay as now the Archons move forward, popping it down. The hallucinated Colossus doing what it can. And and 15 SCVs have gone down here. The Zealots in the main base doing a fantastic job of knocking everything down. Meanwhile, it looks like the army in the middle of the map have died. Only 3 Stalkers remain. They blink backwards, but the Archons, they have died, excuse me. The hallucinated Colossus, I mean, it didn't do anything anyways. And Kelazhur maintains a functional economy, and he has built himself a significant army supply lead now, 82 to 42. Yeah, Icy Chill. I'm familiar with that 1/3 set. I was just curious. I thought the addition of the Viking areas are actually so key. I thought the London Plague was still bubonic, though. But what you're telling me is the Black Death is a name specifically for the plague that killed about 1/3 of Europe, not just bubonic plague in general. Okay, now 7 SCVs have gone down. Looks like the Zealots have been dealt with for the most part. No ghosts on the field just yet, but good lock on that Archon. Shield Battery Overcharge doing a great job of keeping it alive, though. So low now, will pop. Starks playing on the left side, trying to knock these medevacs down as the Kelazhur, he cuts backwards onto the minefield. So many of these Zealots that have already engaged will go down. And Kelazhur, again, building more and more of that supply lead. Disruptor gets a single Marauder. Remember, though, Nice is on 80 workers. He is on 4 bases. His economy going like gangbusters. But sometimes, you know, the gangbusters, they need to complete their tithe. They need their tribute to make sure that they have all the money that they need, and that takes time. Time that does not seem like Kelazhur wants to give him. Now the Vikings will land. Landed Vikings against Disruptors are horrible. Hot pickup there on the Disruptors on the right side. Disruptor shot from the left will miss, and now Kelazhur inside track into the 4th base, looking for just that little bit more. But he can't get too close. This bio is incredibly stimmed. All the medevacs out of energy, so as the Zealots look to make engagements, They're going to kill things that otherwise they would not be able to do so. And remember, Kelazhur lost that armory. He does not have his 2-2 on the way. So while Nice does not have armor upgrades, he does have +3, about 2/3 of the way done. He will have a 1 upgrade lead coming into the next several minutes. So now Ghost Academy going down. Now Armory going down for the second time. 4th base as well. Kelazhur realizing that as he has traded very well over the last minute or so, last couple minutes, he does not have the tech to break Nice anymore. So he has to go back, has to move to that next step. Ah, yes. Well, okay, so Icy Chill. I mean, I was also assuming that, Ring Around the Rosy, Ashes Pillaposi was not what it was, not like, if it was the plague from the 1300s, it was not written as Ring Around the Rosy, Pockets Full of Posy, but this was the translation of a long time, the translation and amalgamation of a rhyme that had been in, like, popular, in common culture for centuries. Lib Harass dead. Ogre Fade. Zealous now, they're going to find their way into the 3rd base once again, but now Ghosts arrive, which means you can snipe them down. Ghosts do massive damage to light units, so really not doing all that much. But they found some SCVs rallying to where Kelazhur wants to take his 4th base, and Nice taking that opportunity. The cessation in pressure. The quick surfacing under the sea to go and take his 5th base, to establish posture on the map, to move into Colossus play. So now what does he have? He has 1 Colossus in this army, 2nd one just completed, extended thermal lance done in 5 seconds. And it feels like Kelazhur this entire game has been about 1 tech behind. He didn't have Ghosts when he needed them, and now as Colossus hit the field, he has no Vikings. And this is a scary position for him to be in. He's about to get sandwiched incredibly hard here as Colossus coming in from every side, but Kelazhur just keeps stimming and running. As long as he can stay away from the army, he actually is going to be able to take this fight rather nicely. These pylons go down. That means no Zealot Warpins. And now he goes backwards. Widow Mines that he left behind to get some pretty good shots here. Disruptors on the left side, forcing Kelazhur to the right. He gets the Void Ray. That's going to go down. These Disruptors shredding everything here. Now Stalkers, they get to blink forward. They get 1 medevac. They get 2. A very low medevac. A very low amount of stuff in these medevacs into the main base of Nice. So Nice, he handles that just about as well as he possibly could. Kelazhur boxed into a corner, forced to run, forced to flee. Oh, I mean, Icy Chill, that's fine. I love learning new things. Oh, those Widow Mines. That's their 2nd shot, too. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, because like 1300's Black Death was more like I'm going to flog myself because plague is punishment from God, and therefore I need to walk the roads, hitting myself with flails. Okay, so now Kelazhur, this army on the left side. Yeah, I believe Icy Shield was saying it's bubonic, but bubonic is carried by fleas. Okay, so now Kelazhur, he has 2/2, +3 attack on the way, no armor just yet. He has the gas forward, actually, funnily enough, not the mineral count just yet. He's on 4 bases. 5th one is on the way, trying to dive on top of this Colossus. There's not a lot here, but really not a lot here for Kelazhur either, so he does have to back up. And it's funny, you look at these supplies and you're like, it's fairly even, and then everywhere we go, Kelazhur just has a smaller army. As Widow Mine goes off once again. Remove some armor, kills the Zealot. Stalkers. They get the empty medevacs, luckily enough for Kelazhur, but that's a bit awkward. What is the etymology of bubonic? I'm assuming so. But okay, now big disruptor shot there. I thought I saw it, but I'm on a small screen, didn't even really. Kelazhur's army, we see the 163, right? The censored, the cursing. That's absolutely what Kelazhur is saying right now. That was such a massive Disruptor shot, now nice. He just has free and easy access into this base. The orbital will fall. Now you gotta be careful on the surround, but Stalkers there are preventing that from happening. Anyways, the Colossus on the high ground, raining hellfire from above. And Nice takes game number 1 in a matchup that I thought was gonna be Kelazhur favorite. Nice has played an insane game. In the blue, he is Nice. And in the upper right, in the red, is Kelazhur. Oh no, they have their music and the StarCraft music playing at the same time. It's just this cacophony of sound. Bubonic. Characterized by swelling particularly in the groin, from the Latin bubo or bubonus, which is swelling of the lymph nodes or lymph glands in the groin specifically. From the Greek bubon, the groin, swelling in the groin, which is of unknown origin, plus ick, which means, an affliction. And then we have the etymology for ick. From the French, Middle English ick, from the French ike, directly from Latin icus, or the Greek ikos. Huh. Yeah, yo dog, I heard you like music, so we're gonna put music on your music. How about that? But Nice is being a bit of a dick here in game 2. He's got that pylon on. Oh, he gets the recall as well. He's got a pylon where Kelazhur wants to build a tech lab, wants to build a reactor. So Kelazhur has to either lift up and open up a spot in the wall and slow down his build, or regardless, he slows down the build. He's got to open a spot in his wall, or he's just got to kill the pylon. And Reapers do not kill pylons. Like, okay, Wings of Liberty, they had those satchel charges. They actually kill structures. That's not the game we're playing right now, folks. Not at all. So eventually we will have the Reapers, and in fact Kelazhur builds 2 of them. Will eventually knock the pylon down, and we're going to see a Starfort get started right here. So it's not the end of the world, but it's not great. And it does provide timing for the Stalkers to show up on the map here. Now, 2 Reapers can beat a Stalker with good micro, but Nice is not going to give him that opportunity. He's going to get 1 Reaper down, and now he's got the high ground advantage. There's no really for this Reaper to run. So second Reaper, 1 more shot, will be able to get out. That means the Stalker's dead. Nice, maybe a little bit too aggressive with that. Losing a Stalker, getting a Reaper, I don't think is a positive trade. We guess Icy Chill TV, we encourage a Rattata, or even a Rattata in this stream. I mean, when I was on a stream with Cats last season, what's the word? We went into a long discussion of large eagles, which was fun. Anyway, Reaper in the high ground gets a scout off, sees the War Prism, which is by far the most important thing that Elazer could possibly see. Because this is actually going to be seeing some significant aggression coming in from Nice, I believe. With an Immortal on the way, with that additional gateway, this is weird. Right, so that is 2 gateways, 3... Oh, Widow Mine! Okay. Now the War Prism can't do anything, not with a Viking on the field like this. But it will warp in a single Stalkers. We will see another Widow Mine go off. These Widow Mines from Kelazhur are so key. Please don't pick up in the... Okay, he's going to pick the Stalker up in the War Prism. What is his plan here? Where is that Immortal? Is it just home defensive? Is he changing what he wants to do now? Now, Depther is in the mineral line. Widow Mine burrows up, gets repaired. Marines are going to be able to chase this down. So it doesn't really look like the Adept is going to get too much done. It shades out. Okay, at the end of the day, I think a Marine died. But okay, now there's more Warpins. One Immortal rallies across. It's 3-gate Immortal, kind of. Widowmine drop on the other side. Kelazhur has no idea that this is happening. Marines into the bunker now. STV is going to get pulled in advance of the bust, but still there's so much damage as the Cyclone doing a good job. Adepts looking to find their way on the high ground. We'll see the Warp Prism go down, so no more Warp Ins, not necessarily. And now we will, of course, see the Vikings. They land. Bonus damage there on the stock. So really it is all about this Immortal right now, and I don't think that's going to happen. On the other side of the map, Widowmine drops into the mineral line here. 11 workers go down, and this is just not doing it for Nice, not in this game. Kelazhur barely takes any damage. Widowmines do so much. He even gets the medevac out with one of the Widowmines. Nice is not happy, but he's going to move on the high ground once again, maybe hoping that this Immortal can do something. But I think that Immortal just died. Oh, okay, there's a second Immortal here now. SCVs again get pulled onto the bunker, but it seems like enough of them. And yeah, actually, this Immortal is not in a great spot. Hardened shields have been popped, so the tank can absolutely blow it up. Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't quite go full meta. We didn't go like full metacognition on that one. It was just, you know, Eagles are biological facts, biofacts are fun. But the bunker's now down, which means that there's a little bit more access into the base of Kelazhur at the moment. Widowmine drop going in. This time, Nice is paying attention, as we do see the Vikings. They do not kill an Immortals. They got to pick up, run away. They get 2 probes to their trouble, though. Joypants Robotics. Not necessarily AI. I'm much more of a mechanical engineer that works on robots rather than, like, software and AI. But anyways, actually great drop here coming in from Nice. It is going to be his last chance to win this game, I think, with how much he's committed onto this. We're going to see some sentries get warped in, though. Good force fields here to start. Medevac goes down, and the army of Nice, he's doing a great job of juggling this one. He's not fighting most of the army of Kelazhur. Now 10 SCVs have fallen. We need another warp in, though. Stim, folks, is done in about 20 seconds. That's really going to be the timing where Kelazhur either booms or he busts. 3 more Zealots are on the way. Mule gets dropped you just for that little bit extra money, but now with 2 Immortals here, that's a lot of damage. These Marauders are not going to stand nearly as strong, and it's starting to feel like Kelazhur's army is starting to melt. 23 SCVs have fallen here. It looks so good for Kelazhur at the start of this. He did damage on the other side. He took minimal damage, but he's going to lose a barracks right. Well, actually, maybe not. The lift is there, and the Stalkers don't have range. But Kelazhur now on 1 base. The economy of Nice has been able to be rebuilt properly. He, of course, he can chrono it out. He's on 40 probes. He's on 2 Nexus. And while there is a tank on the high ground, that is just going to force this army back a little bit. It's not going to unlock the map for Kelazhur. Not really. We're going to see the Immortals now bulldogged on top of this. Now, you got to be careful with the Marines with Stim. So it looks like the majority of this army from Nice is now going to run away. No, Joypants, I'm not watching Tesla AI Day. I'm casting StarCraft. I'll catch anything important afterwards. Okay. Drop into the main base here. Now, what is there to defend? There's 1 Immortal. There's actually 2 Immortals here. Actually, is there an RS shield battery? It looks like there is not, but even then, it feels like just these 2 Immortals are probably enough to defend this. 7 workers go down, and again, we see the worker count kind of equalize. Yeah, I saw that they were going to, people thought they were going to debut their humanoid robot. And while I respect the hell out of humanoid robotics, like the control problem, making something like bipedal control, or the bipedal motion is really hard. It's not exactly, I care about putting robots in, you know, like in the void, in space. Yes, there are often stepper motors in that. Oh, nice pick on the Warp Prism. Maybe Immortal's getting dropped just to snipe the Marines that would snipe that down. So Warp Prism stays alive. And now charges down. How many gateways? Okay, we're going to see an Archon get morphed in, so that tells us that Nice wants to get aggressive. I think the posturing would tell us that it gets aggressive as well. Ogre Fade, it's because, in part, the human world is based around a bipedal system. Oh, these tanks are exposed here. Zealots are going to get right on top of one immediately now. Mortals run forward. Second tank going down. Third one very exposed here as well. Stalkers knock that. But the Zealots are all dead. So this is a meat grinder here to run into Fornice. Kelazhur with the spled, kiting backwards here. Now it's only Immortals. He's going to get on top of everything here. There's just not enough weapons anymore. Nice looked so good, but he doesn't look good enough. And Kelazhur, he's not happy by that one. You can see he's very, very happy at the end of that. That was a hard game for him to win. In the upper left here on Stargazers on the ace match, it is nice. And to the upper right in the red for Team Liquid. Give it up. It's Clem. Oh, this is one I can do because this is one that Team Liquid doesn't say. How long will the game be? 1 to 7:30. Oh, let's say 1 to 9. 1 to 9 mins. 9 plus mins. There we go. There we go, folks. How long is this game? You have 2 minutes. Question though is so Stargazers, we saw a massive upset. I think I put Nice and Clem further away than I put Harstem and Maru, to be fair. And Harstem actually has a history of beating Maru. It's kind of funny. He beat Maru in the King of Battles 3 qualifiers, I think, to qualify. So, like, he has a history of beating Maru. I don't necessarily see it here. But when Harstem did beat Maru on this map, we saw him. It was because Maru went for Cloaked Widowmine drops and Harstem shut it down super hard. I think we just see Clem play standard as hell here. I mean, there we go. He's got his natural down at the pocket base, the base that means it's so easy for a Terran to expand. So cheap. Okay, what is not going to load? I feel like Harstem's PVC is better than his PVT right now. I don't know. I mean, that game against Solar was kind of a throw, but Solar just is looking really on point right now, so it's, you know, you can't get too mad. Okay, so Stargate play from Nice. This, of course, can go like 3 ways. You can go Oracle into Blink. You can go a bunch of Oracles and do something crazy. You can go... you get an Oracle or not, but you go Phoenix into Charge or Phoenix into Colossus. Like, those are the 4 real ways. Technically, you can play Tempest on this map. We've seen Nina do it on occasion, but I mean, I think that's beyond Nice's. I think that's beyond Nice's wheelhouse necessarily. He loves the Sky Toss, but he loves his Turtle Sky Toss, not his kind of cheeky, aggressive, abuse the dead airspace Sky Toss. All right. But for now, okay, it looks like it will be Oracle into Blink, which is a very powerful style. In fact, when I was talking to pros leading into Katowice, doing all that prep work. Oh, is he gonna win this? No, he doesn't. Oh, Clem almost did it though. He almost did it to him. A Reaper should never beat an Adept, but by getting it almost that close, I mean, that is juicy. But it will be Oracle into 4-gate Blink, which is a variant, of course, of this style that we were told was going to dominate the PvT meta. It's just so much map control. It is, you can see where your opponent's army is when you blink at the main base because A, you have high ground vision, B, you can revelate. It represents worker pressure. You can do cheeky things with Stasis Trap. It's just really powerful. And then we saw Ryung hit with that 6-minute timing build that killed every single attempt at it, and it's like, not worth. It just was not worth it whatsoever. How many total players are in the pros, do we think? $32? I don't know. I think everyone in the top 32 of like the Atlanta land is going to be a pro player. Maybe more than that. Oh, sorry. When you say pro, Ogre Fade, when you say pro, do you mean full-time pro? Or do you mean plays professionally even if it isn't there and they have a side job? Or, you know, they're supported, you know, by their parent. Like, when you say pro, you're saying it's supporting 100% of their living expenses? Or not? Because that's a very different question. But okay. Another gateway on the way. You got some buyer's remorse, Joey Pants? I mean, this game can still go past 9 minutes. Hey, thank you so much for the sub. 3 months in a row, or 2 months in a row, but 3 months total. Thank you for Daddy Bezos funding me here. Stalkers now move forward, and they're trying to bait Clem into this stasis trap. And Clem, is he going to buy it? No, he sees it. The eyes of an eagle, this one. He also just kind of bait Clem out of his base a little bit here. That's a lot of Stalkers and a depth. Stalkers moving forward. One Marauder falls, second Marauder falls. Medevacs are out, but he's just targeting down the expensive units, but now he is Stim. Stim's right on through everything here. The Oracle pops in, and it does go down. So there we go. Clem picks up. He runs away, but Adepts have found their way into the main base. And when the Adepts are away, the Cats will play. Your SCVs have to get pulled. Clem, he's on 2 barracks, or he's on 3 barracks, excuse me, but he just doesn't have a lot of army right now. A lot of production. More Stalkers are warping in. Everyone, I didn't even bother to put a prediction vote because it was like, no way Clem loses this game. Nice is kind of making it look possible. Then I look at the supply. I'm like, I don't know that I believe it anymore. But it is 5 gate blink. Now Stalkers on the high ground here, and now Medevacs, they boost back, but force the Stalkers to blink even forward, and it's a bait. The Widowmines are there. Didn't even see them. Now the Stalks, they're all dead. It was looking scary for a second. Actually, we're going to give Nice credit. It was looking scary for a minute. And Nice, he understands that he is in absolutely dire straits, but hey, that Widowmine, or that Medevac has to be a little bit scared. And Clem doesn't feel like he wants to move out on the map just yet. The bio stims forward. It's a nice concave from Nice, but there's just not enough stuff. It doesn't matter that, I mean, there's 2 Stalkers on the right, 3 Stalkers on the left. Again, the army of Clem just says, I don't really care about that one. You need more stuff here. So both Stalkers that have been kind of sent back home to die, been sent to Clem's home to delay him, will do so. But again, the cost of their lives and no drop in the main base. We saw how effective this was for Kelazhur. Is Nice paying attention? The answer, folks, is no. He taps out GG. 7 minutes and 42 seconds is all that it takes for Clem to hold the push, to beat Nice, and to give Liquid their win in week 1. So, folks, I'm sorry.